Hey, what's up, everyone? Eric Rossi, the guy with the eye here, and the reason I'm on here is because I've basically been challenged and dared to react to this video that Mark made originally, not in the way it eventually turned out to, but then Don Bauer made a response video, and then Tom Migot also made a response to. So even down in the comments, basically to fill in, they're discussing whether it's possible to do pro work with less than pro gear. What does pro mean? What's a pro photographer? All that kind of stuff. Let's dive into that. I'm going to give you my quick thoughts. Hopefully I won't rant on as long, and we'll go from there. Let's dive into it. So this is the big case in point question right now. Can you do pro work without pro gear? Now, my quick reaction to this without thinking, and I've listened to everything, you know, Don Bauer made a 40-minute video and everything like that. My quick reaction is that you can have whatever gear you want. Why you would want to work with less efficient gear that can essentially degrade your work because the image quality isn't great, that you need to spend an extra 5 minutes in image, 10 minutes in image to fix chromatic aberration and stuff like that. To me, that baffles me a little bit. You know, if you're making enough income, if you're working and you're getting paid for with photography, you should have the best gear, I feel, that can make your job easier. Does that mean you need the newest $4,000 camera body or $5,000 lens? Absolutely not. I'm still using a Nikon D700, which is years old, from 06, 05 or whatever. That camera body is worth $900 now. Yes, there's better gear out, there's better and more expensive gear out there, but does that make it more professional? And no, it doesn't. It's whatever works for you, and really what kind of gets this thing started. So Mark right here, he brings up a good point. He's talking about the Sony kit lens being garbage. He's a photographer as well, and he uses it and he really likes it. I'm sure he uses other stuff as well. Don Bauer then really kind of goes on to say that it's kind of crap because you should have the best gear possible in a way, not once again, not $20,000 worth of gear to do the job, but why limit yourself? And then Tom Migot really kind of comes on, and I'm really kind of in between all of these, but for the majority of this argument, of this debate, is that a pro photographer is someone who makes a living at photography. I don't care if it's you know, maybe if it's just like a couple weekend jobs, you can be classified a pro photographer. The whole pro part's kind of BS to me anyway, and you know, it's just a fluff term that really means nothing. But essentially, is you're making income as a photographer. Now, does that mean you're good? Does that mean you're bad? No. You know, there's a bunch of pros out there who have you know, terrible work, but they're making good money because they're more of a business. They're great with their business, and that's what I feel more pro photography is. The pro photography is that you are making, this is a business around it. You're not just doing it as a weekend hobby, you know, the amateur hobbyist type of route. You're doing this, there's intent behind it. You're making money. It's more of a business than just a thought or for fun or every once in a while thing. So that's what I term pro photography. You know, to be transparent, I don't make a full living off of photography. I work in the media industry, and I also do photography myself and all this other kind of stuff. So I have a business around photography. So that's really the huge thing here. So do you need the best pro gear to get the job done? And honestly, no, you don't. Once again, I'm using decades old of almost a decade old camera, and it's still one of the best on the market, and it's not the most expensive. You know, so say if I was, a reason I upgraded to get better lenses and more professional lenses is because I aspire to go full frame, to get better low light, better depth of field, all that kind of stuff. And I felt that it was a great idea to do so because I was shooting weddings when I first began with a D7000, and in low light, it's garbage. Even with flash, the colors kind of really look mucky and everything. So I needed to advance from there. So my answer to the entire thing is you don't need the most expensive gear, but you should have the best tools possible to get the best image quality, and that's what your clients expect. You shouldn't be going into a wedding, you know, saying you're a professional photographer with an iPhone. That's a very extreme example, but you shouldn't be going into a professional work environment with less sufficient gear. Like you shouldn't have the Canon 5D Mark III with a crop lens on it, or etc. on the Nikon side, the Nikon D810 with a 18-55 kit lens on it, Yes, you're a professional photographer, but it doesn't mean your images are going to be great with the quality that comes out of them. And if you have to spend a ton of time in Photoshop and post, if you're doing something really creative, I don't think that is the best choice. So pro photographers needing to use pro gear, no, that you can use whatever you need as long as you can get the job done in the best way to get the optimal image quality. But if you're feeling restricted, you should need to go up. I'm very, very confident in that. So should pro photographers use pro gear? Yes. Should they use the best pro gear in the entire world? No. Don't force yourself into loans. Don't force yourself into that. But you should use the best gear that your budget can afford. I want to know everyone's thoughts on this down below, so please write your thoughts on down to this. So this is my reaction to Mark, to Dom, and to Tom. You don't need the best gear in the entire world, but you should have very proficient gear for whatever you're shooting, be it camera body, lens, lighting, and you shouldn't have the cheapest things as well. There are plenty of lenses out there that are great, that are not $2,000, but if you can afford those, it can help improve your image quality, even slightly, even if it saves imaging time. It might be a good idea, but you don't need the best stuff out there. Let me know your thoughts down below. Interesting topic. Let me know.